Welcome back to the TRM show. I'm your host, Dave Serafinas. My next guest has over 30 years experience in the travel management industry. When I look up the word integrity, oftentimes her LinkedIn profile pops up. Kerin McKinnon is a corporate travel veteran and industry advocate with a passion for nonprofit causes. She is a creative strategist, an effective leader, a seasoned public speaker, and a passionate crusader and fundraiser. She has worked tirelessly as a government liaison for GBTA and NEBTA on Capitol Hill to support legislation that is beneficial to the corporate travel community. Business Travel News, Channel 7, New England Cable News, business journals throughout the U.S., purchasing magazines, and Travel Weekly have all featured Kerin throughout her career. She was awarded the 2014 NEBTA Leadership and Professional Excellence Award. She serves on the DE&I Committee for the Travel and Meeting Society, travels frequently to volunteer in Haiti, and has led multiple group trips for disaster recovery, rebuilding, and various ministries. Welcome to the TRM show, Kerin. It is really nice to see you again. How have you been?
Very well, David, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen each other. I
I don't,
remember back in the day we were like joined at the hip for a
I know.
period of time, right?
It's been a crazy couple years.
Yeah, we both have an amazing passion for duty of care. So, that being said, where does your passion for duty of care come from?
A little bit of a few different things. One was 9/11 left a big mark on me. I lost a client and an employee. The agency I worked for was based in downtown Boston. Obviously, the flights originated out of Boston. Typically, we would have about a dozen people on that United flight. We had a special arrangement with United, a contracted rate. We had a staff of five in one of the towers. Four of the five were not there that morning. One was late, one was out sick, one was out on vacation, and one went out for a cigarette. But we did have one employee perish. And
Uh,
then on the flight, we had a CEO and a CFO, both from the same company. The CEO was late. He got into the HOV lane behind an elderly woman that was confused, didn't mean to be in that lane, stopped, and he realized he was going to miss the flight, that United flight, and he called his COO and who wanted to stay behind and wait for him, but he encouraged him to go without him and that he would catch him up with him later on a later flight. And obviously, he perished. And what really struck me was the amount of calls we got from friends, from family, from coworkers that really had no idea where anybody was. They
mm,
were just calling because they knew someone they cared about was on a flight,
yeah.
nowhere. And it just really stuck with me that why don't we know where people
Mm.
are when they're traveling? So there was that. And I interned in law. I'm fascinated with duty of care, where the law comes from, and OSHA, and how that all originated, and how the workplace extends into door to door for travel. So, kind of those two things combined just lit a fire for me.
Yeah, that moment in time, although it's tragic as it was, really created a lot of new
Absolutely
ideas and technology.
changed how we do business.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
in
And
a
as
positive. You're
right,
right.
and it's never going to end with the advent of AI. I think you're going to see some amazing new tools to use
Yeah,
um, in the future.
yeah.
You know, how is travel management different in this post-COVID era? We've all been through COVID, and it wasn't so fun. But
Yeah.
from your
What
perspective as a travel manager in the travel management space, how are things different now?
it's been interesting, and for us, we did have accounts of all sizes go to zero, down to
Mm,
zero, no travel whatsoever. We had an uptick with certain clients, such as we have a lot in the pharma medical space. So we
mm,
had one medical company that manufactures ventilators, and their
mm,
business went crazy. So we have a lot in the humanitarian space, and in the humanitarian space. they run to crisis, not away from it. So their travel went up. So it was a very mixed bag. I will say that coming back from COVID, there's a much more thoughtful approach to travel and what travel is necessary, what travel is maybe not so necessary, what can we do in another fashion and another platform. And there's also, I think, the risk piece, just a more attention being paid to travel, and particularly international travel, maybe a different approval process. So yeah, has left a mark. COVID has left a big mark on our industry.
I imagine a lot of corporations realize that we can do a lot of things with Zoom and Teams, etc. Uh, why spend the extra money on
Yep.
travel when it's been proven not to be that beneficial? But my personal opinion is give it another 3 or 4 years, and people will be, arguing that I need that face-to-face relationship, and
I think that's
you
already
know,
happening.
already,
We were
yeah,
designed, we're human beings, and we were designed for human connection. And I do think there is still validity with the one-on-one, with the face-to-face. Particularly in other countries, it's almost not socially accepted to not show up to sell or to service or to do business with. So I think, but basically, there's an appreciation for the travel that does matter and
right,
the human connection that does matter. But
mm,
has it been tightened up? And if it's internal travel, does it really need to be face to face? So it's changed.
yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, you're absolutely right. That human connection is still a necessity, and I do think there will be kind of a backswing towards a little bit more of that eventually.
Yeah, I imagine. You see any interesting risk management trends in corporate travel policies with your clients these days?
Yeah, I think, going back to the post COVID, just more thoughtfulness, more awareness, absolutely looking at international a little more closely, making sure you have what you need in terms of educating the traveler, um, what to expect when they travel. Obviously, maybe not Boston, UK, but um, travelers are going all over the world, and in our case, humanitarian to some pretty risky destinations. So the international side policy is really tight, and you find maybe not only is the approval process involving the travel management team on the client's end, but the risk management team.
Yeah, yeah, precisely. What can a corporate client expect from Atlas in terms of risk management that may look a little different than the mega TMC space? What sets
Yep.
Atlas aside when it comes to risk management?
Yep. I think we all have a place in the travel industry. I think the mega size agencies do a fantastic job at the mega size clients, but the smaller, the mid size clients may not get the same level of attention. It's just really where you sit ranking wise within that TMC. But I think we're an affiliate of a mega. However, so we have that bandwidth, but I think we have a more fluidity, more flexibility, maybe more customization for that mid level client. Program managers really spend a lot of time. And on the risk side, they have that knowledge base and they have suppliers relationships in the risk segment that they can advise our clients and help them create policy that helps keep their traveler safe.
So it's that one-on-one relationship with perhaps your project manager or an account manager, talking to the client and understanding their individual needs and
Yep.
issues, as opposed to broad brushing everybody
Yep.
is the same, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we do have our own technology company, a sister company, Prime Numbers, that
Oh,
works with about 45 TMCs.
hmm.
So we have that benchmarking opportunity with the data from those 45 other TMCs that's very helpful to our
Hmm.
client base. So I think that's another differentiator. Thank you for letting me plug Atlas a little bit.
Well, tell me more about that product that you just mentioned, how does that work, and how is that helpful? Prime
Yeah.
numbers, I think you called
Yep.
it.
Yes, Prime Numbers is a technology company, and they provide the core reporting, just like any TMC is going to provide a core reporting package to their client base, and we do that as well. Absolutely.
So let's go to a darker space. Mass shootings are on the rise, and we know that most TMCs provide alerts to the traveler destinations. But how do you handle specific locations such as
Yep.
companies, various offices, or client sites? How do you folks handle all that?
Similar to core reporting, we have a core offering for our clients that provides alerts to the traveler, and that's a given with any TMC. You're going to have some sort of product, whether it's proprietary or you outsource it, that will provide alerts to the traveler. So if something's going on to that destination, and that's kind of airport code based.
Uh,
However, we do have the capability, it is optional. If a client wants to take that a step further, exactly what you said, what if there's an incident in their client's headquarters or in their own headquarters or in one of their remote offices? Um, we can definitely load those addresses in. So maybe the client's top clients or their, top 10 offices, we can load those in so that the alerts will react to those specific addresses. God forbid there's a shooting or an incident specific to that building.
yeah,
So I think that's taking
I remember.
a step further than just watching airport codes and
Yeah,
yeah,
I think when the technology first evolved, it was always about airport codes.
yeah.
And the fact is, nobody stays at the airport.
Correct.
They
Very
get in a
early.
cab,
Yeah.
they go to their hotel, they go on a business trip
Yeah. Where are
regionally,
they?
and
Yeah.
it's just like you may have had an incident near an airport, but your traveler is 50
Yeah.
miles away, or vice versa.
They-
Um, the incident may have happened 50 miles away, but your traveler is right there and you don't know about it because you're
Exactly.
basing everything off an airport code.
But
And then the industry evolved into, adding hotel reservations to that. And now finally the industry is using actual physical, GPS coordinates of where you're actually physically located too.
yeah.
Um, but like we talked about earlier, the industry is getting more sophisticated and better tools are coming. And I imagine what you provide your clients have helped many times. Where sometimes the travel manager of that particular organization isn't even aware of anything going on because they're not watching TV or
Right.
whatever, and they
Right.
get alerted by you,
Yeah. And
and that
that real
swings them
time.
into action, right?
Exactly.
So, in some sense, you're almost overlapping what your traditional travel risk management company does. In some cases, let's face it, not all companies have travel risk management, a TRM program.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they feel maybe they're too small, or they've just entered the international space, but or they didn't subscribe to email alerts for whatever reason, or what I see a lot, and I'm going to do an episode on this as well. A lot of the travelers tune that stuff out. They don't. They tune it off. They shut it down. They don't listen to it. They don't see it. They've muted it or whatever the case may be. And sometimes, if your travel manager gets that, they can physically make a call, and what the industry might call active monitoring. Where your travel manager might just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I just got an alert from Atlas.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?"
Yeah.
And that takes it one step further, right?
I am a strong proponent of a travel management program, and I don't care if you have two travelers or 2,000 travelers. You have an obligation to protect your employees, and to me, it's not just about liability, which larger companies will sometimes have their risk management program in place because of the liability of something happening to that traveler. But to me, it's the protection of your greatest asset, which are your employees.
I'd
And
love to have you back as a guest.
yeah,
You're a
sure.
fabulous person.
Oh, thank you. You as
I
we've always worked well together, and this was just an honor to come on and and have a
Great.
chance to speak with you. And I appreciate it.
All right. So hopefully we'll have thousands of people viewing this podcast and giving you a call and get more information from you. And absolutely want to have you back on the show. And
Great. Thanks,
good
Jane.
luck. Um,
You as
have
well.
fun with your new grandson.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, Dave.
Bye.